Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Jana Wolff, Director of Nutrition at the Comprehensive Obesity Management Program at GBMC.
And my name is Michael Salomon, and
this is the Sleeve Chef. I want to send a very big thank you to WMAR2, you guys for joining us, and our very special guests, our mothers. Happy Mother's Day! So we brought our moms on because a huge part of growing up is cooking with your family. And we have so many memories, and this is why we became who we are today.
Absolutely.
Right? The dietitian and the chef.
Absolutely.
So we brought our mothers on, Jane and
my mother, Karen.
And we're going to just have them tell us a little bit about our history with nutrition and cooking.
Okay.
So, Mom, you start.
Okay, so I'm Jane, Jan's mom, and we grew up in New York. Always tried to give my kids an education, exploring good food, healthy food, a way to stay healthy through nutrition, and let food be your medicine. So we went to health food stores, cooked together, and shared all the experiences in the kitchen.
Yeah,
wonderful.
It was beautiful. And we actually, growing up, I think that I was a little bit of a weird kid because I loved my Brussels sprouts, my lima beans, my tofu, things like that. So, you know, I think it's very important to remember that exposure to these foods as a kid is very important to, you know, start actually incorporating them into your diet.
Absolutely, yeah, very, very true.
And what about you, Karen?
Okay, so our story is a little bit different. I don't cook a lot, but I think Mike learned everything from his grandmother. Mike was always great in the kitchen. One of my fondest memories is when Mike was about 6 years old, and he woke me up with some coffee and a breakfast, and he said, "I've made breakfast for you, Mom, and I've even started the laundry." But
That's wonderful.
And Mike used to love to try new things. One of his favorites was peanut butter on waffles. And
Pioneer, friend, pioneer.
And making mashed potatoes with Old Bay at an early age.
Not just those regular potatoes, either those Hungry Jack dehydrated potatoes.
Oh boy.
You know the ones I'm talking about. Delicious.
Yes, but I think one of our favorite dishes was what we called chicken raidan, which was a lemon pepper chicken with a nice light dressing, Newman's Own dressing.
Newman's Own, only the finest in the Salomon household.
Lots of vegetables.
Oh yeah,
yes. So that was kind of
really
our
simple
favorite
dish, really fun, super delicious, great, easy. You know, when you're at home with your kids and you want to make something quick and something healthy, that was the dish we always went to for sure.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for your stories.
Yeah,
And we're going
absolutely.
to have you back up in just a little bit to try the food.
Awesome.
All right.
Can't
Do
wait.
it. Great.
All right.
Okay. So,
So
what are we doing today?
we are doing Mother's Day. Always brings to mind brunch for us. I
Yes.
love brunch. Brunch is a classic thing to do on Mother's Day. So we are going to do brunch. We're going to do a bariatric inspired brunch. We are going to do this delicious veggie frittata. We're going to have some sauteed spinach, some sauteed red bell pepper, some feta cheese in there as well. And we're going to make a frittata, and then we're going to do that with some roasted radishes.
Now, we found the roasted radishes on Facebook, so thank you guys for giving us the idea.
Absolutely.
And we figured, I mean, I love radishes, but I've never tried them roasted. I always have them raw.
Yeah, me too.
So, yeah.
I always think radish in a salad. I never think of it as a side item.
So this is a really good opportunity for us to actually try them out and to share them with our family.
Absolutely.
So you guys can take this on your Sunday, Mother's Day, and try it out for the fam.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So we'll talk a bit about the differences between maybe thinking, oh, what's an omelet versus what's a frittata? How do they differ?
That's a good question.
What is the comparison, et cetera? We'll talk about that a bit as well. But we're going to start off with our radishes. So these radishes are going to be really, really simple. Our recipe actually calls for halving them, but because these are a little smaller than the average radish, we're going to quarter these. So they look more like the potato that you're kind of used to.
I think that's a great idea.
So what we'll do is we'll cut off the top here, again, keeping our fingertips nice and tucked in, using the front of our knife as well, and top and bottom. Then sit it on a flat surface. Again, safety is critical here. So sit it on a flat surface, and then we're just going to go straight down. And again, lay it on a flat surface here, and then we're just going to go straight through, and you get this nice, almost like a quartered potato would be.
Beautiful. And I just want to remind everyone that's tuning in today, send us your questions. We have a very special guest coming, and I think you all know who that is.
Oh, yeah.
That is Dr. Dovek.
That is the one and only.
She is on her way, coming from a workout, of course. And she's going to tell us a little bit about how mothers can actually stay in shape and keep up with their
active mother herself.
Yes, someone with a very active schedule. So I want to
just a little surgery on the side.
You know, no big deal.
No big deal.
I do want to thank Tova, Lee, and Stacy for joining us.
Thanks so much, everybody.
Yeah, and remember, this is a forum to ask questions about nutrition, cooking, and if you have questions about the actual recipe, that's great. But if there's anything else that you want to talk about,
absolutely,
let us know. But it's so funny how everyone asked always about potatoes to me. What is a good swap out for a potato? And I would not have a lot of options besides the cauliflower mash.
Besides the cauliflower, that's always the first thing people go to.
Yeah, and this is perfect.
Absolutely.
What kind of what are we doing here? We're doing thyme and lemon and okay. Yep. Because you could even do rosemary on that too.
Oh, very easily, yeah. So we've got our 1 tablespoon of olive oil, as you can see with our lovely little measuring cup here.
Very good.
This helps tremendously, guys.
It does help tremendously because to know how many calories are in a tablespoon is very helpful with oils. So across the board, whether it's butter, coconut oil, olive oil, corn oil, doesn't matter. It's about 100 to 120 calories per tablespoon. So you can either use the olive oil or sprays.
What I love to do here, guys, as well, is just, all you want to do is just push the bowl forward and pull it back. That will help you to very easily coat these radishes all together.
It will also help you to impress your family and friends.
Exactly.
Okay, so hello, Dana and Heather. Yes, roasted radishes are yummy. Well, we'll see.
We're going to slide these guys on a sheet tray. We've got our oven preheated at 425 degrees. So we'll go ahead and slide these guys on a sheet tray. Pop these guys in real quick if you would. Thank you so much.
Very good.
Voila.
Voila.
Voila. All right. And then moving on to, we're going to let those cook. The sugar in those radishes is going to start to caramelize. So you'll see you want to cook those about 15, 20 minutes. I like to flip them about halfway through. Again, you want them to cook evenly. I'd recommend putting them in the middle of your oven, your convection oven, only because typically the heat's either on the bottom or the top if it's a broiler in that case. The convection oven will just simply circulate that heat through, so keeping it in the middle will be cooking most evenly.
Very good. And we got an interesting comment that I want to mention.
Yeah, please.
Melissa said, I don't think they taste like potatoes, more like cabbage in my opinion. And funny enough, they are actually a cruciferous vegetable. And right now, walking in is our very own Dr. Dovek.
Please join us. Good to see you. How are you?
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hello, good to see you. I love your dress.
I thought it'd be a little flowery for Mother's Day.
Love it.
So, do we have to put a mic? Okay. So we're going to actually mic you up.
Okay.
All right. And then we'll have you back on.
Great.
Okay.
All right.
So, as I was saying, the radishes are actually a cruciferous vegetable. So if they have that sort of cabbagey taste to them, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, yeah,
but
totally makes sense.
It's nice to have that little nugget of something that feels like a potato.
Oh, absolutely,
You know, when
sure,
you're eating it.
And that's the thing too. When you cook them, you know, when you cook it, you want to be able to have a little bit al dente, so you still want a little bit of a bite to them.
Right.
As well, that's another critical piece.
Yeah, and by the way, I was doing some research on the red versus the white radishes, and the white ones are less spicy.
Oh, okay,
so
nice.
if you're
Good
looking
to
for
know.
less spice, then
Absolutely.
you know, you could do the white or the red.
Absolutely.
The
So welcome back.
Yay! Thanks for having me. I mean, this is fancy. For all of you tuning in, you have no idea what a production this is. The lights. I mean, lights, camera, action. Here we are.
Are you just loving it?
When the lights come on, I do love it. I have to
It's the
admit,
best.
I love it. And here's your phone. Here we go.
It kind of reminds me of a version of like the surgery room, the operating room.
It is. I mean, but we operate in the dark actually because laparoscopic. We watch it on these high definition TVs.
Wow.
It's all. It's very just really crisp images, but it's best viewed in the dark.
And
so
don't worry, we all scrubbed in before we came on this evening as well. So we made sure we got the pumice out.
Yes, yes.
Got all the way up to the wrists.
Safety
and
first, right?
Went in.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming
Thank
on. While Mike is cooking the
Yes.
frittata, I just want to ask you first, and I want to tell everyone. Guys, feel free to send in any of your questions while Dr. Dovek's here. This is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So definitely send in your questions. But I want you to tell us, how do you keep so healthy on your routine, on your regimen, but so busy?
Yes, I think that I always tell my patients is that organization is the key thing. And I mean, I learned that from what you've taught me. I mean, the meal prep and that sort of thing. So I don't cook. So that's why I said I would never do the sleeve chef. But for this Mother's Day edition, I said I'm going to come on. And when, you know, Aaron in my house, everybody knows who Aaron is now. He does all the cooking, but he does do a lot of meal prep. So he does like a big meal on Sundays, and then in my lunch, that's what I bring. And I follow what we tell patients to do: high protein, low carb, little to no added sugar. And I love all the alternatives to the other carbs that we're doing.
Right.
This is why this one is so much fun with radishes. And
I know. Who would have thought?
I mean, I think that's the main thing is the organized type A patient or person in general always does the best. Good things come to those who are prepared.
And don't feel like the other thing too. Advice I'd give for meal prepping is don't see it as binary. See it as fluid. So even if you don't have to prep, don't feel like, oh, I didn't prep for every single day this week. Therefore, I still know what I'm going to do. That's okay. You could plan ahead. Go, okay, I'm going to prep for 3 or 4 days, and now I can have lunch this day, and I can have dinner that day, and I can work around it,
Right,
and then work up to it.
Sometimes people just prep their snacks or just prep their breakfasts, and sometimes that's all that you can do.
Yeah.
And if you can just do one of those things, that's perfectly fine.
Exactly. Start, lay the foundation, then build up to it.
Yeah.
Do you do any with Aaron, any cooking or anything with the girls and
that would be a no.
Okay.
I don't do any cooking at all. Now, my daughter Adrian, she's all into it. She'll get the stool,
That's
she'll
great.
go up there.
Oh, that's
she'll
awesome.
practice and all that. She gets into it. She wants to be a helper, and I'm sure Evan will too. And but no, I just don't. When I lived by myself years ago, I had to cook, so I probably could. I shouldn't say I just can't, but I haven't done it in a year, so I don't even know.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
It's
by the
embarrassing.
way, just don't even be embarrassed because so we both have Aarons, right?
Yes, I know.
Both of our husbands' name is Aaron, I think. And so both of our Aarons cook for us.
Yes.
Now I do a little bit of the prepping and the
Advice to the men:
chopping.
learn how to cook.
Learn how to cook. You know, get someone that can cook, right?
Definitely. Completely
It
agree.
always helps. So now what are we doing here?
All right, so we started with our fresh red bell pepper here. So they were nice medium dice. Added a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil in. Put those in. You heard them hit the pan. You want that pan to be not smoking hot, but you want it to be over a medium heat. So we add those bell peppers in, let them saute. Then we add our spinach in next. Get that saute. So we're starting with the ingredient that's going to take the longest first, which is the bell peppers in this case. Adding our spinach in, let that wilt down a bit here. Then we're going to add our eggs in behind that.
Very good. And we do have a question from Heather. What can I do to stop my new pouch from hurting after I eat meat and I take very small bites? I have some options.
Let me go first.
So always my first thing is, yes, I know that you take very small bites. And Heather, because I know you. Yes. The bite size has got to be the size of like a jelly bean or a dime. And you have to be chewing 30 times.
Yeah.
And I know that it's like makes you want to scream, but put your fork and knife down and don't pick it up until you've swallowed and waited like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And what about papaya enzymes? You know, so papaya enzymes you can get at any grocery store or pharmacy, and they help to break down the food. It's just adding an enzyme, which we already have in our body, but, you know, working overtime, we need extra enzymes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think those are amazing tips. Sometimes I feel like some patients will tell me I just cannot tolerate chicken or a specific type of meat because it's too dry, or it's just too dense, or maybe even if it's a cut of like a steak or something, it's not the best quality.
Right.
And I think that's an important thing to
absolutely.
to,
Yeah,
look for.
the cut of meat and how you cook it is critical.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And even
Juicy. It needs moisture.
Exactly. And that's where you want to start with something like a braise, doing like a braised pork or a braised beef that's going to be a longer cook in a moist heat is going to allow that to break down more and make it easier to consume than you would a steak cooked over a high temperature like a New York strip or a, a tenderloin, for example.
And I would definitely recommend using like crock pots, Instapots, things that are going to add in that moisture and infuse it, because you know, at first, when you first get the surgery, your stomach's not working the way it will in like 6 months from now. So you do have to. There is an element of patience as well. But
So true.
I also believe, and you can tell me if you think this is correct or not. The longer you go without eating those things, the longer you will not tolerate it for. You have to reintroduce some of those things to your new stomach, or else it will not produce the amount of acid, the types of enzymes that are needed to actually, that those enzymes can actually downregulate.
I completely agree with that. I've never really thought of it. I never really told anybody that, but that is so true. I think that's also the effect of like dumping syndrome as well. Like the longer you avoid the sugar when you do eat it, you're going to pay for it in such an immense way. You get so sick, I feel like, after it, that you just don't want to do that again. So I think avoiding the things that you should avoid is always good. And this is extreme, but it's the truth. As we know, sugar is heroin. So why tempt it? Why go back to your kryptonite when there's food like this that is so much healthier and it smells
just a
so
few
good.
ingredients, so easy to make.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. So we went ahead and cracked our eggs. So one key thing, when people think cracking eggs, people always go, oh, I'm going to crack on the side of the bowl.
Yeah.
You want to crack on a flat surface.
Okay.
You're less likely to break it, to have it shatter and have it chip on you're cracking on the side of a bowl as opposed to when you're cracking on a flat surface.
Yeah, because you don't want those little shells in there.
Exactly.
It ruins all your hard work.
Exactly.
And it can introduce bacteria in as well.
So let's talk a little omelet versus frittata, right?
Yeah.
So there's a very basic difference between an omelet and a frittata is typically omelets have fewer eggs. Typically it's a 3 egg is a traditional default for an omelet.
Okay.
In our case, we've got 8 eggs in our frittata. So frittata is meant to be served like a crustless quiche is the best way to think of a frittata.
Okay.
So you typically won't flip a frittata either. You'll cook it whole all the way through, sticking it in an oven.
Yeah.
Or in our case, we're going to go ahead and actually cover it up with a little bit of tin foil to allow it to basically steam. So I'm going to capture that heat coming off, and it'll steam the frittata itself, keeping it nice and moist.
Very nice.
So it's a really simple. The key, other thing here too that's key is you want to make sure that when you're cooking it, is that you are over that nice medium heat. You don't want the pan to be super hot when you're going in.
Yeah.
Really important to focus on that heat.
It'll keep it tender and nice.
Exactly. Plus, you'll if your pan's too hot initially, it's just going to burn the bottom of those eggs, and then once those eggs are burnt, forget it. You may as well just throw it out and start over.
I have a question about eggs.
Sure.
I know that Jana says eggs. Eggs are an awesome food. So a couple things. First of all, the yolk is okay to eat.
Yes.
People always, somewhere, somehow, we always think that it's such high cholesterol. I know. So you can eat the yolk, everyone. Yes. Number one. Number two, I'm always shocked by how few eggs people will eat. They'll say they have a hard-boiled egg, 1 in the morning. So I want to almost take a poll here. How many eggs you guys out there, how many eggs can you actually eat? I'm going to start with you, Sleeve Chef.
Me?
Mike, how many can you eat?
It's like a challenge accepted. I like it. So right now, I usually go for about 4 eggs typically.
In one sitting?
If I do a sitting, yeah. So I'll do. So I'm 2.5 years out. It took me a while. I love eggs because I usually typically eat mine scrambled. If I'm eating them by themselves, if I'm eating it as like a hash, then I'll do it over easy because I like that richness and that yolkiness.
And that's good because each egg has about 6 grams of protein.
Exactly.
So if you do the math, then you're getting about 24, and we recommend 20 to 30. Perfect. And if you're taking out the yolk, how many grams of protein are you taking out? Half.
Wow.
You're taking out half the amount of protein. And all these studies in the past have shown that, yeah, okay, we're back and forth on eggs. So I'm almost like, all right, enough already. But they've also shown, like with lots of evidence, that it's not the cholesterol in the food that's going to affect your blood cholesterol, it's the saturated fats, like we know. So, we have some answers here.
Oh, here we go.
Sherry, 2. Heather, 1.5. We got 2 eggs, 1 egg, 2 to 3, 1 egg, and a great snack. So
The one bums me out.
You know what? When you do one, you're getting about 60 to 70 calories. So that's not a meal.
No, it's not. And I feel like that's, listen, my pickers, my snackers, my grazers, my nibblers.
Oh, talk to us.
This only this one egg is going to make you hungry an hour later. And that's when you're constantly eating. You need to sit down. I love what Mike said. He could eat 4 eggs. And I know some of you feel like, when you get to that point where you should not eat another bite. I get that. But I don't know.
But
what do you think?
allow yourself to eat enough food at that one meal, so you're not constantly
hungry. And the other
hungry.
thing is too, I like to talk about the idea of unconscious eating, right? This idea of just sort of putting your head down and just, you're just kind of going. You're not really thinking about what you're eating. Turn off the television. Take a little bit of time to really sit and really appreciate the food of what you're eating.
Yeah.
And you think about it more and you enjoy it more.
I know.
And you're more aware of the actual process of eating. That's something that I've always struggled with and still struggle with today, is this idea of just like, I eat too fast. Because coming from the restaurant industry, I could never sit down and have a meal. I'd have to squirrel myself away in the office and just inhale my food. I could never really appreciate my food.
And most people are getting sick because they're eating too fast. So it's not usually the food that's making you sick, it's the way that you're eating it. Not to put the blame on you and not the food, but you can take, you can kind of take those steps to just pay attention and practice more mindfulness when you're eating.
Exactly. That's the perfect word for it. You
Mindful eating.
Mindful eating.
Yeah.
Really sit down, really be aware. So real quick too, guys, speaking we're talking about mindful eating, look at this deliciousness. Look at these beautiful colors in here.
Looks great.
You got some feta cheese, some fresh
really
scallions, sauteed red bell pepper, some fresh spinach in here, baby spinach specifically. And again, you'll notice I'm just kind of slowly moving this off the pan. I'm using a non-stick pan. That's also important, especially if you're gonna be mindful about, because we're talking about the oil that we're using a tablespoon of oil for this. The fat is what really helps to sort of, get underneath of that pan and allows it to slide off, right? So what we want to do is, we're being very mindful about how much oil we're using. Using a non-stick pan in our case is really going to help us at the end when we actually go to slide this frittata off.
Yeah. I had a question about how soon after surgery we can take papaya enzymes. And I would say
right immediately.
Right away, right? Yeah.
I think you need to, but I mean, as we know from the diet progression, you're going to be on full liquid. So if you need papaya enzymes when you're on fulls or even pureed or soft, you're pushing it.
Yeah, and you might be going too fast. Yeah. And can I make a little public service announcement?
Please.
Okay. Because a lot of people come in, they think, okay, I'm getting the surgery, and when I go home, I am just going to be consuming sugar-free Jell-O, sugar-free popsicles, and broth.
Oh, no.
So what do? We turn that around. Yes, you can get a lot of fluids because the number one thing after surgery is going back in for dehydration. Yes. So we don't want that. And we want you to sip every, 10, 15 minutes. It sounds excessive, but it'll help you.
Yes.
And then we also need a form of protein. Protein is the only thing that's going to help you to heal.
Yeah. And you need some fuel because your body has to keep going. And so you go into ketosis, which is where because you're not consuming glucose for energy, you're consuming other sources, even your own fat and that sort of thing. Some people, when they're ketotic, feel manic. They feel amazing. And those are the people that are like, almost like high off of this feeling. But others feel like you're literally dying because in a way you are. So it's important to follow those recommendations.
Right, because if
this is where, and again, everybody hears the keto diet, the keto. That's exactly what your body is doing, is your body is going into a state of ketosis, which is the origin of the actual diet itself.
Meanwhile, I have to make a plug because on Monday, I'm going to be doing a quick TV segment.
Ooh, wait a minute.
I know.
Our medical assistants, when I was telling them today, they were thinking I was very fancy.
You are.
But I will be doing a TV segment at 10 a.m. on Monday, so tune in for that. It'll be online. But we're going to be talking about things that deter our diet efforts. So going on a crazy diet obviously will backfire because you can't stay on it for that long.
Right.
I hate that.
You know, if it says organic, it doesn't mean that you can eat all of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we're going to be talking about that kind of
remember
stuff.
watching an episode
good.
of My 600-Pound Life, and they were talking about patients have this misconception about food. They're like, oh, well, they're oranges, they're healthy. And I
Right.
can eat 50 of them. Well, no, because your portion size is still so high. You're still taking in
Yeah.
so much sugar
Yeah.
that it's just not good for you. So if you
Anything
have,
that's
one,
healthy-
that's great.
Anything that's healthy doesn't mean that you should eat a ton of it. Oh, that looks
Wow.
great.
Yum, look at
That's
that beauty.
impressive. I felt like it was sort of easy, like I could handle it, but I'm still intimidated by you guys right now. In this. This is amazing.
Hey,
how many people at home feel like they could do this that are watching?
Right.
Like write in and tell
Very
me if you feel.
easy.
I mean, it seems
think
easy,
so.
right?
And you'll notice,
Yeah.
real quick too here, guys, notice how when I jiggle the pan, there's nothing
The eggs
moving,
aren't jilling,
right?
yeah.
That's
Okay.
the key. The
That's
eggs
the
have
key.
totally congealed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this, in a traditional omelet sense, when you saw the eggs start to come together at the bottom and start to cook at the bottom, that's when I'd be rocking the pan and I'd
Right.
be ready for the flip.
Right.
Right. With a frittata, that's not the case.
Right.
With the
And it's
frittata,
nice
you want
'cause
it to
you
be
could
the
share
exact
it
same
on
way.
Mother's Day.
Exactly.
You know? I have
Oh,
a
I
quick
know.
question from Sherry. Since I had my surgery, I developed a blood clot in my portal vein.
Oh, boy.
I'm having trouble eating multiple times a day to get all of my protein. Besides the protein drinks, which I cannot tolerate, what else can I do to get enough protein? I have some ideas. What about you?
Well, first of all, I wanted to say something that's not really answering the question, and
Okay.
that is, we are all obsessed with protein shakes. I will see people who are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years post-op. He'll be like, "Don't kill me, but I'm not doing shakes anymore." My goodness, you
You're
should
like,
abandon
"Thank
those
you."
at 1 day. Yeah, that's a good thing. But people think that in order to do this, they have to constantly be doing these shakes. So if you can't tolerate them, don't do it. That's totally
that's
fine.
Such a great. One of the things for me when I was first starting out post surgery was I was so worried about not getting the right amount of protein in.
Yeah.
I wasn't hitting 90 for my first month and a half, and
Yeah.
I was really worried about it. And I went out to talk to Dr. Bello, and he's just like, "Listen, it's well, how much are you getting in?" I'm getting like 40, 50, 50, 60 grams, and he's like, "That's great.
Yeah.
Just start there. It's going to take some time. Your stomach
Yeah.
is healing." Don't feel like that number again is binary where either you hit it or you don't. And
Yeah,
if you
you're
don't hit
not-
it, then you're doing it wrong.
You're not
Yeah.
failing.
That's
and
just not the case.
Yeah, I know. I think people do think
and
that.
the focus is always, hydration and take a
That's
little bit
number
in.
one priority.
and-
Number
and-
one.
Yeah, and like you were saying, like for me, I like the Quest bars. That's my, like, if I'm busy and I need to get to something quick,
Okay.
that's what I eat.
Now-
And it helps, but it's not like a
Yeah.
a go-to. It's not a meal replacement. It's meant to be like a
Something quick,
I want to get
easy,
some more
yeah.
protein in,
Sure.
so I'm going to use that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Is what I
by the
find.
way, the protein shakes don't stay with you for long because when you have something that's liquid, it rids your stomach much quicker.
Oh, and
Yeah,
since
it
we're talking
does.
about protein shakes,
Yeah.
Jenny, you picked up a great point about whey isolate. Isn't that correct? That's your the first thing
First
you want to look
ingredient.
for.
Yeah. Isolate in general is
Yeah.
a great type of protein. In studies, it's shown to be more absorptive than things like whey concentrate or, caseinate or collagen. So, that's what we want you to be consuming.
behind you
But
real quick and grab this.
like we said before, in the first 2-3 months, a lot of people don't meet their protein goals. But after that, moving forward, that's when you should be, shooting for it.
Exactly.
I want to get back to Sherry's question
yes.
about adding some other types of proteins in, because if you want to do something like yogurt, unsweetened applesauce with a little bit of protein powder in it, or sugar-free
There's
pudding.
a question
with
on Facebook
yeah.
about that. What is your favorite unflavored protein powder?
Well, I love Anjuri.
I do too.
I love Anjuri.
It's like
It's
it's
so
like
good.
it's like you don't even taste it.
No,
and you just
it's-
sprinkle it. I've
like
seen
nothing.
people with little Tupperware containers,
Yeah.
just a little shake here and
Easy.
there.
I love it. And you know what else is good? Isopure. What's funny is that a lot of people hate the clear Isopures, like the clear drinks, like
Yeah.
the fruity ones, but the actual protein powder, some
Okay.
people don't, some people like that one.
The Isopure, the taste of it is not bad, but it's this like this little aftertaste.
The aftertaste, yeah.
It's weird,
Yeah.
and it can be nauseating.
For sure. All right. So
Yes.
let's get cutting, shall we?
Okay. And
We've-
Sherry,
Oh, yes.
feel free to email me, message me, whatever you want. I'm on my chart, I'm on email, I'm on Messenger. If you want more options, for any of these
and
issues.
Sherry, your issue is very different. So yeah, you should be contacting us. We would love to help you to get through that that tough time.
Yeah, and I just have to make one more plug.
Sure.
I had a couple of people come in 2 years out, 3 years out today, and they were like, I should have come seen you earlier. Come
Yes.
see us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a patient yesterday, a male who saw you. He was like, I just needed to get back in the door to get back to the basics. He was 4 years post-op.
Yep.
You know who you are, and he's still doing great, but he just he wants to just get back on track and just feel like his pants feel better and all that. We all do.
Yeah.
We all need that
Sure,
reset.
and absolutely, and that's the thing is this is a journey, right? It's not okay. I'm done.
Right.
I've hit my goal. I'm done. Like that's
Right.
just not the case.
It's not.
It's what other sort of lifestyle changes have you made that have sort of helped to maintain that goal and keep you moving forward.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I want to give a very special thank you and shout out to one of my bestest friends, Erica. She is another dietitian that I studied with, and she's
cool.
actually viewing right now.
Oh, wonderful.
So I just wanted to say
wonderful.
hello.
Oh, that's great.
Are we going
All
to
right,
taste
yes,
the food
let's cut this
or
up.
Okay.
All right,
what?
so real quick, guys. So when we're cutting this, we're going to shoot for 6 even sizes, right? So we're going to do that first by going right down the middle, and then we're going to come on almost like a 45-degree angle here, come down one side,
Okay.
and then almost like a pizza, and then cut it down the other side here.
Yum.
And you notice that I let this rest, because again, I want this to cool just a bit, just enough so that when I get underneath of it, that egg holds its shape. So we slide underneath
Yum.
here. And there we are.
I'm gonna eat every last morsel of this. It looks it smells great. Like
Well, that's really the key here, right? Is if we want to show people that this is something that you can do. It's going to be
It is so
great for your
beautiful.
family. It's very, very quick.
Speaking of family, isn't it so cute that their moms came? I can't even. I know that Jana's mom has watched every single episode faithfully.
Every
I mean,
episode.
you must be honestly like. Just like I'm feeling a little awkward up here, and she's just so smooth. And both of them are too. I mean, you guys must feel like, wow, I created these two talented individuals. Like seriously,
I love. Come back
please
up.
come on back up.
And I love this, Melissa. Hi, Melissa. This journey never ends. We just occasionally go smell some flowers and get lost. LOL.
There you
But
go.
It happens,
You know what?
and then you just come back when you're ready.
Here we go.
Okay,
We
so
slide these in.
okay,
This is so exciting.
and
thank
Dr.
you.
Dovek, we're
I
going to
got one.
share a plate.
Okay, yes.
Yourself. Thank you, Jenna.
Oh yeah. I'm going for it.
Yourself, Mom.
I'm
Okay,
going for these radishes.
and we need one more plate.
One more.
Beautiful. Okay.
This is legit phenomenal.
Thank you.
I had the radishes first.
Aren't they good?
Incredibly good. Really good. Better than I thought they would be.
Oh, beautiful.
In fact, not just
Wonderful.
better than I thought. They taste better than au gratin potatoes, and I know that you're thinking I'm lying right now. I'm not. Don't you think so?
I think they're awesome, and I kind of agree that they have that kind of cabbagey, cruciferous-y taste, but I like them better. And I feel like they'll sit better on your stomach. Oh, Ma, hi.
Is my mom watching? Mom, hi.
Oh, well, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming today. Please ask us your questions. I want to give a huge thank you to Dr. Dovek
Oh my
for
God.
taking.
This was great. I don't know why I've been so afraid.
We loved having
Thank
you.
you. Well, it was a blast. It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, so, and so what we want to do before we wrap up is we want to give a huge thank you to all the mothers out there for being with us for our lives and teaching us everything. And we also wanted to thank our own mothers and my work mommy. Here you go. Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, wow. Oh, this is so nice.
And of course, one more.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, so thank you guys for coming. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's
Please
Day to
reach out to
everybody.
us if you need us.
Absolutely.
And thank you.
Thank you again, everybody.
Yes.
Have a great rest of your evening. Take care.